Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, May 14th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. In this society, currently on this planet, our relationship to money reflects how we feel about our power to affect the world. Now, since money is a mirror of our consciousness, the more comfortable we are with being powerful, the more money we are likely to create in our lives. Shakti going. As long as we're in this current society, we will be creating some kind of relationship with money. It simply happens, since money is such an integrated part of our lives and we are deeply intimate with life, that we unknowingly have an intimate relationship with money. It is in our attitude towards life, this life, others, and ourselves, which hold the foundation for what our relationship with money will be like. How you treat life is basically how you will treat money and how you'll be treated by money. You may tend to ignore it, grasp onto it, avoid it, become obsessive about it, reject it, deny its existence, or accept it and become a creative channel who works with it in a healthy way. When you can understand what your current monetary relationship is all about, you have laid the first foundation to increasing your financial frequency to the next level. One of the greatest things about money is it is limitless. Every day you are potentially a jackpot sweepstakes winner. There's no end to the amount of money we can give, create, and receive. There's no end to the amount of money we can give, create, and receive. Your bank will always accept the largest deposit that you can imagine, and they will be happy to add an infinite number of digits onto your account. At our deepest core, our personal connection to money is therefore truly unlimited. Every human being has the potential to become a gazillionaire if they deeply desired. The only thing stopping us is the fear-based feeling from the financial box we tend to live inside our body and mind. Everyone is able to magnetize as much money as they can imagine because we are all born, when we're speaking of the body, with natural unlimited manifesting power. If you are human, whatever you think about is what you'll attract and create. We are manifesting machines that cannot be turned off. It may seem ridiculous or miraculous, yet manifesting is as normal as the air you're breathing and the sun shining from above. If you constantly and continuously visualize yourself receiving large amounts of revenue and are taking inspired actions that attract that, you will eventually create the financially freeing situation you deserve and desire. It is just a matter of patience and persistence as to when it will manifest physically for you. The biggest issue that most people have with money is they focus on the lack of it. The biggest issue that most people have with money is they focus on the lack of it. In the world of manifesting, it's not the lack of it flowing into their bank account that's the real issue. It's more about a lack of creativity, courage, love, and that we have forgotten how extremely powerful we are when it comes to manifesting our dreams. This universe is always here and listening intimately to us. It's tuning into what our relationship with money is right now. Its job is to give us feedback as to if you're full of abundance consciousness or stuck in poverty consciousness. The quantum mechanics of the outer world is set to mirror what's showing up on our inner world. One of the fastest ways we can shift into a powerful connection with money is recognizing when we are in poverty consciousness and immediately release it. If we tend to defend our budget, deny that we are in debt, blame the economy for our lack, or point the finger at some financial crisis in the past, we are not feeling the vibration of abundance. The truth is that how we relate to money right now always depicts what our financial future state will be. When we live in a limiting paradigm within ourselves, not being more creative and loving with the financial choices that we're making, we tend to remain in the same financial situation as before. When the relationship with money on the inner world changes to a state of deep gratitude and abundance, the outer manifestation very soon has to follow. See, what we do is now some people intend it through the ego mind, which is a dead end. And they send it out from the ego mind. They don't send it out from the heart mind, and that's the discrepancy. That's why nothing really happens. When we take the time to look intimately inside ourselves, we gain the power to create a life filled with divine, unimaginable abundance and beauty. By looking inside, we reclaim our ability to shift out of any old subconscious program from childhood that may still be running. Many of us often feel anxious, fearful, greedy, or ambitious when we simply hear the word money, or start thinking about our own finances. As long as we have an unrelaxed relationship with money and feel a sense of fear or lack whenever we think about it, then we'll continue to remain caught in poverty consciousness. When we can stop worrying and start relaxing each time we think about money, we can find our real power of truly feeling abundant and naturally capable of manifesting all the money that we desire. If your problem has a solution, then why worry about it? If your problem doesn't have a solution, then why worry about it? The energetic importance around money runs deep in our Western civilization. We tend to collectively believe that people who are rich are continuously happy and free, while poor people are stuck, unhappy, and truly unsatisfied. Many believe that loads of money equates to total freedom, power, security, and strength. The intensity and prioritization that this world has placed upon money has created a deeply skewed delusion. We have forgotten that money is here to serve us, and that we are not here to be a slave to it. Yet as long as we are chasing after money to acquire more of it, hoping to one day have enough of it, we will miss out on truly enjoying how it's here to serve us now. The highest purpose of money is to help us let go of life and truly relax inside. We can easily be generous with others, giving them plenty of our time, love, money, and energy. This is one of the greatest relationships one can adopt with money. In order to enter this divine monetary garden, it may be helpful to know the reason money was first invented. It was originally created as an easier means for the trading of goods and services. You didn't have to carry a chicken under your arm all day if you wanted to buy some bread in town. and could simply carry a few small coins in your pocket. Money was never invented as a means to gain wealth or define how successful or unsuccessful we are, yet is a tool to make trading things and services easier. When we see money as this divine middleman, a sacred bridge or effective tool that enables us to trade for the things we desire, then we can stop grasping onto it and start appreciating its practicality in our lives. By being thankful for the money we do have, instead of thinking about the money we don't have, we begin creating an appreciative relationship with money, and its abundance begins to grow. Through deep gratitude, we establish an even healthier relationship with money, and we'll see how it becomes easier to manifest an abundance of it into our lives. If only people who worry about their liabilities would think about the riches they do possess, they would stop worrying. If only people who worry about their liabilities would think about the riches they do possess, they would stop worrying. Would you sell both your eyes for $1 million? Or your legs? Or your hearing? Add up what you do have, and you'll find that you won't sell them for all the gold in the world. The best things in this life are yours, if you can appreciate yourself. Dale Carnegie. As we learn and grow in this life, getting to know ourselves, there comes a moment when we discover what a healthy relationship feels like. We learn how to discern between what is serving us from what is hurting us. We mature in our understanding naturally and learn how to trust in ourselves in the most intimate ways. When we let this trusting, intimate connection spread into how we physically interact with money, amazing things soon begin to manifest. From this courageous and trusting space, true financial freedom can be found. All fears around money seem to simply dissolve, and money becomes your true ally and intimate friend. Once we find and create a solid, trustworthy connection with the divine essence at the core of our being, once we find and create a solid, trustworthy connection with the divine essence at the core of our being, then money simply becomes an energy source that enhances our lives. It becomes evident that the more creative and inspired we can become, the more potential money can flow our way. When this deep level of trust is merged with creativity and inspired action, it fully radiates from our inner world into our outer world. Then we can relax, feel supported by this life, and experience the real divine abundance that is all around us and inside us. We each hold the power to come into a deeper inner harmony with money at any moment. We must choose to simply allow our consciousness to expand and feel the most abundant state is a living, breathing potentiality in our future. We must choose to realize that all feelings of lack and poverty are saboteurs, and we just need to let them go. We must choose to take full responsibility for our minds, realizing that the mind is the manifesting machine, creating every little thing we attract and see in our lives. This is why we master the mind. It doesn't master us. We direct the mind. Most westernized people measure how powerful, successful, and secure they are from the amount of money they have in the bank. They believe who they are is a success or a failure in life, based on how much they are making and how much is in their savings. This relationship with money is the most unstable and insecure one of all. The job or money can always be taken away from you at any time. Once we discover that which cannot be taken away from us, then we have found an unwavering security inside and experienced the real source of success. Only finding that which cannot be taken away from us can we truly experience real freedom in our lives. Only finding that which cannot be taken away from us can we truly experience real freedom in our lives. What is the one thing that cannot be taken away from us? The God, the soul of that which we are. It's good to know that more weakness is created the more we depend on money. It's good to know that more weakness is created the more we depend on money for a sense of freedom and security. The more we depend on our creativity and connection to our divine manifesting nature, the more secure and truly wealthy we become. If we continue to believe that more money equals more security, we must redefine where our source of real security if we want to be free. We must redefine where our source of real security is if we want to be free. We must find the real truth about our power and release this idea that loads of money equals security and success in this life. Often it is this delusion that starts creating feelings of a financial prison inside the mind. The more attachment we have to money, the more it attaches itself to us. By simply stopping our mind and discovering the source of real security, that manifesting potential energy, which never can be taken away, we can get in touch with the source of unlimited, unbounded abundance, which is at the root of pure creativity inside us. It may initially take a lot to redefine our relationship with money in the beginning. Yet taking those first baby steps are the golden keys to allowing more abundance to enter our lives. The secret here is understanding why and how you choose to define success and security the way you do. What does it take for you to truly feel successful and secure inside 24 hours a day? Have you ever felt 100% secure in your relationship with money? If not, why not? Question yourself. Find out what you do need to say no to so that you can say yes to relaxing deeper in your relationship with money. Get really curious about these questions, for this is a one-way ticket to liberating yourself from any financial prison you may be stuck in. Now, it is time for us to become more powerful manifesting money magnets than ever in our entire lives. This is your big opportunity to stop defining yourself as someone who has always struggled financially. You can reshape your subconsciousness mind with a new set of beliefs which will empower you to attract as much money that you want in the bank. You can train your brain to deserve to have total financial freedom. You don't have to work harder in this life in order to become more successful and stable. You simply can make smarter and healthier choices along the way. By sticking to listening to yourself, and you could create your own daily money manifesting meditation. you will naturally inspire your subconscious mind to take action that bring you more abundance and joy. By reprogramming our brain with abundant thinking, we will increase our ability to attract more energy and consequently money into our lives. It is time to release all the stress and strife in our lives and manifest a lifestyle that is overflowing with joy and positive energy. What the subconscious believes is ultimately what makes a person physically wealthy or poor. The more abundant imprinting we can create on it, the more financially free we feel. This is an amazing opportunity to increase your ability to manifest financial and find that healing, abundant relationship with money that will create a life that you love. See, the subconscious mind is a recorder. And so figure this out. When we go into a baby body, and the baby body starts to mature, we're programmed. We all know that we're programmed. We're programmed by other people's thought. So if you think about this, and I've seen this happen. If you grew up in a family where one of the parents, is always saying, we can't afford that, we can't afford that. We can't get that, you can't afford that, you can't afford that, you can't afford that. And that goes on over and over and over again. You can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it. And you hear it year after year after year after year after year after year after year. It's programming you. See? Now I can almost guarantee that when you become an adult, out on your own, doing your own thing, you will start saying that to your kids, or if you don't have kids, to yourself. Can't afford that, 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 that's too expensive, that's too expensive, that's too expensive. Boy, I'd like to get that, can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it. And you don't realize it. It doesn't come into you. You just say it because it's the way you were raised. Okay? And so you will live in a box where you will make money, but not a lot of it. And you'll go through life, you'll retire, and you'll make a fixed pension, but never have enough to do the things you want to do. Okay? And then you'll leave the body. Now, the difference is that's programming. But when you become consciously aware that that's been stored in the subconscious mind, then you can change it. You can empty out all that programming about money. Money is the root of all evil. All these things that we have come up with through the centuries as far as money is concerned, right? So we shift gears and we start programming our subconscious mind with the opposite. You come up with how much you love money. Okay? How wonderful it is to have. But you do it with heart-mindedness. You do not do it with the ego mind. Now you direct your mind, your ego mind, to focus and manifest. So the heart mind actually is overseeing the ego mind. The ego mind is the servant. And you direct to the ego mind, this is what you focus on, this is what you want. And knowing the parameters, right, that you don't doubt it, you trust it implicitly, you believe in it, you have faith in it, you're not fixated on it, okay? You don't have expectations or attachments with it, and you just know it'll be there. You don't know in what form it will come. Could be an opportunity, could be a situation, but you just don't know what opportunity, what situation. And so when they come along, a lot of us, because of our money consciousness, wherever it may be, we miss them. They go by. They come up and they leave. And the universe brings them in. So every opportunity you look at, You look at it from your perspective and no one else's. So remember, it's all about you. And this, you start to form a relationship with money. And see, isn't it funny? Because people who have a lot of money, you know what they worry about? Not having a lot of money. And so they hoard the money because they're afraid to use the money, because they're afraid they won't have the money if they use the money, so that they keep the money, so that they have the money, so that and then they continue to worry of not having the money. It sounds complicated, but it really isn't. Then you have the people that don't have the money, that are constantly wanting the money, but never seem to get the money that they want. And they worry about getting the money that they want because they worry when they get the money, they won't have the money. You see what I mean? And this is what we do to ourselves. No one does it to us. We do it to ourselves. And yes, there's certain circumstances and stuff that we will put ourselves in that if you have money, it can be taken from you. See what I mean? So it's to be in a state of deep gratitude and full abundance all the time. And to be deeply grateful for the very moment you're in. And you don't, see, then you don't really worry about money. You do the things you want to do, the money comes, it's always there, and you don't worry about it. And see, when we worry about it, what do? We kick it away. People will say they don't want to be broke or poor, right? But by saying that, they're broke or poor. Instead of saying, I deserve the best of everything. And this is an ego talking, it's heart, mind. We all do, because we're the gods in these bodies. We're divine perfection. Why wouldn't we all be wealthy? Instead of, few here and few there. Yeah, it's great to appreciate the fact that you're wealthy and to understand it and to know that you could be a gazillionaire and then all of a sudden it's all gone. And sometimes that happens. Why does that happen? It happens to teach us the value of how we feel, and then those feelings from within go out, and then that attracts what we're in the now, what we are experiencing in the now. And think about this. Now, when you have people that, they've made a lot of money, and they start to get a conscience. They start saying to themselves, I've had all this money, I have what I need, I have everything I can possibly imagine, I have all this money. What am I doing? Am I helping anybody? No. Okay. Am I creating value and building wealth with this money? Not really, no. What am I doing with this money? I'm hoarding the money because I'm afraid I won't have the money. See what I mean? And it's interesting how people will go from a certain level of finances, and then they go higher and higher and higher, as we've witnessed in this society. They go higher and higher. And as they go higher and higher, you see, and they have so much, then they'll go and they'll buy something for $1 million. And see, to them, it's not really a lot of money because they have billions. So $1 million, it's no different than you saying, I'm going to spend $50 on something. And it's your perception on how you perceive things from your experience in that very moment and what you've experienced with wealth or money. A lot of people think that people who have a ton of money are carefree, footloose, fancy-free. But here's what happens. And I think some of us have watched this, witnessed it, right? where people become so frightened that people will know they have a lot of money, that they'll want to take it from them. So they hide. They hide in the background. They don't let themselves be known. Now, people say, what about Forbes, Fortune 500, all these entrepreneurs that are billionaires and stuff? That's to satisfy the public. They're allowed to do that in the current structure of this planet. Okay? And then people say, well, you know, there's billionaires, right? Yeah. There's nothing more than that. Yeah, there is. There's people who are trillionaires. Not so many, but there are people who are trillionaires. And they accumulate all of this money. You see, now this is what's happened to this society. That's how it's been structured. The reason it's been structured that way is because, why? You see kings and queens with all the wealth and pomp and circumstance, and well, that's normal. That's what they're supposed to do and have, right? And then you see the people that are in squalor, poor, impoverished, or struggling just to get by. What's the difference between those two? Well, kings and queens always are given money by the people. They don't work. They don't do anything. I don't mean work. I mean, they don't really do anything. They have people do everything for them. And this is generation after generation of royals. And other people too. So the ego starts getting stroked so much that you believe that you're better than all the rest of the brothers and sisters on this planet. You believe you're better than them. And you withdraw yourself. You move yourself away. You put yourself in a whole different arrangement, so to speak. And you only hang with only the people who you believe are at your level financially. And then you laugh and talk about all of the little people that are struggling. See, this is all ego mind now. Instead of saying, okay, so I've done all this and I've made all this wealth, now how can I help this civilization? How can I help humanity? That's part of the reason we're here. We're here to enjoy our lives, right? And we're here to have the lives we choose to have. And that's interesting, isn't it? Because every one of us, the life that we're living right in this very now, we have chosen to live it. We have not shifted or done anything to change it into a life that we want to live. We just keep living that life that we created for ourselves. This is why the financial flow on the planet is so lopsided. Okay? Because of classes, that's ego mind. You classify humanity, and you put humanity in categories. Okay? And then children learn about that, and then it just repeats itself generation after generation. And sure, we take care of ourselves, and we focus on ourselves because we must know ourselves deeply and know who and what we are deeply. So a lot of the things, and this means that what happens is that you master the ego mind. The ego mind is no longer your master. You are in heart-mindedness. You're in deep gratitude. And you're gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. All of this allows you and moves you into an understanding is that now I'm going to, you've created value and you've built wealth for yourself, and now you're going to do it for the rest of the civilization. You see how that works? And it doesn't have to be on a big scale. You just do it in your community, whatever it is, but you're saying you've shifted that. And I'll tell you something, when this civilization begins to embrace that wholeheartedly through the heart mind and not the ego mind, because, oh, look at me, I'm doing this for humanity. It's because they enjoy doing it. And they're not worried about getting ripped off, and they're not worried about this. See, the ego mind, I had a conversation a couple days ago with an alleged benefactor, okay? And the benefactor all of a sudden threw this out there. Now, I haven't associated with this person. Every 6 months they call me and they say that they're going to make buku bucks, and the Grey Wolf 9 project is front and center. And they don't really get to interact or know emotionally or anything. And then every 6 months they call up and say this. And then it was interesting because they actually came in and said, well, we're going to have all this money and we're going to do this and do that. And then they said, of course, I want to be involved with this since we are making the contribution. And that was ego mind right there. That was ego mind. It wasn't that's the old 3D earth energy. It's ego mind. Oh, I want to be in control of something because we're giving you this money. And see, that's what's happened throughout the ages with the civilization, is that they got to get something out of something. You've got to, if you give, you've got to get. But see, it's intentional. It's consciously, I'm going to do this, so I better get something out of it. See what I mean? You don't just say, I'm doing this because I want to do it. I'm not interested in getting anything out of it or interfering with it, see? And I think we've all done that at different scales and levels in this lifetime until we discover that it doesn't serve us any real purpose. And then when we start getting into the mode and directing ourselves to help others, and we help others, why? Because it feels so good. And I've had people say this to me. The reason I like helping people is because it feels so good to help people. It's probably the best feeling I could ever have. And it's not out of getting something or receiving something in return. It's because you want to do it. And obviously, see, then you have people that will what, right? They just kill themselves. They don't have much. They kill themselves trying to help others. It's just in their makeup. You imagine what would happen if all of a sudden that those kinds of people became super rich, gazillionaires. What do you think would happen? Obviously, they wouldn't be ignorant to the fact that they were super rich, and they would be responsible for it, but they would imagine what they would do. See, on this planet, the way it's been structured, it's been the opposite. Okay? While we were sleeping, a handful of creatures began to run the planet and the civilization. And unfortunately, they were evil. And their intentions were not good intentions. They were very bad intentions. And so they were able to take over all the wealth on the planet and starve the majority of the population from being wealthy. And that trained the civilization to believe that that's the way it's supposed to be, that they are not supposed to be wealthy. Only a few are wealthy. And then they began to accept that. And so that's why they were given jobs that paid them just enough to stay in those jobs, but not enough to leave those jobs. Okay? So it conditioned everybody. And so their thinking process, their thought process was, to them, $30,000 a year was really, really good. Or 50 or 60 or 100 or 200,000 or 300,000 was really good, but not millions. Not millions or even billions. Oh no, that's only reserved for a very few people. And then they say to themselves that they wouldn't have the ability to manifest that kind of wealth. And of course, we all know that that is not true, because we all have that ability. Every one of us are super powerful manifesting beings. It's a proven fact. It really is. You can't, it's not like you can sit there with your ego mind and try to dispel it, right? And say to yourself how silly it is. Well, if that's the case, then that people say they wouldn't be so broke. If I'm a super manifesting being, and I'm always manifesting, then why am I broke? See? And what's the answer to that? Now, if you share with them the answer, a lot of times, not all the times, but a lot of times they get irritated. Oh, that's just silly. That's just poppycock. That's just dreaming. And there's other people that say, wait a minute. That makes sense. So if it is to be, it is up to me, right? Yes. You're the power. The power isn't out there. You're the power. So then people start to, let's just say, turn the corner, so to speak. And then they start saying to themselves, wait, I can have anything I want. And really believe that. Right to their very core. Not in an arrogant way. Not in a ego-minded way, but in a heart-minded way. I can have anything I want. Because I am all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. The God that I am in this body never dies. The body is temporary, and so I enjoy the body and I enjoy the physical life while I'm in it. And then I leave it. And then I do something else. Or maybe I take another body. So it's our perspective. It's our attitude. It's the attitude that we have of ourselves, of who and what we are, period. Now, the influence, of course, we all know, is the programming that we get when we first enter baby bodies and into adulthood of other people's thoughts. And we know how to clean that out by eliminating those things that we've accumulated in the subconscious mind that play back randomly. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you will do the same thing, right? And you will do the same thing because you'll say, maybe this time it will be different. It's a guess, right? We do that. Maybe maybe the timing and everything, maybe I'll do it now. Last time the timing wasn't right. So you do the same thing. And the same thing has the same results as what you were, that you had done before. But you thought through the ego mind that, hey, might be different, right? And it never really is, because you didn't shift from what you learned from the first time and to change and shift things to basically accommodate the energies so that it did happen for you. It's like, now, you look at that the whole spectrum, inside and out, above and below. So let's just say, for giggles, that every one of us felt that, knew that, deep within ourselves, okay? That we were omnipotently powerful, supreme manifestors, okay? And that we could manifest anything we desired. Hands down, not even an issue. Total confidence, faith, and trust. And we did. So everybody on the planet could do that, and everybody on the planet was wealthy. Well, if everybody's on the planet was wealthy, then how would we help people because they're all wealthy like we are all wealthy? You teach, you learn, you interact, you help physically. They might be wealthy, but maybe they're not that strong, and they can't lift certain things. Or maybe they injured themselves in years previous, and they can't do a lot of the things they used to do. What is, you help others based upon their needs and their current position in life, their current standing, or however you want to look at it, where they're at in their life in the very moment. And this is where the civilization is going, and it's not going to be interrupted or stopped. The civilization will continue to increase its vibrational frequency, and the whole social structure that we currently have now is going to be completely changed. It's going to be completely shifted. Nothing like it is now. And that's in New Earth. That's in 5D, 5 density frequency, because why? Because you decided to go there. And you know how to go there, how to get there. And an attitude of gratitude and being gentle, kind, generous, and humble with oneself at all times. And the gratitude all the time, it's a habit that you get into. And your concern about your financials, it doesn't disappear like that. It will fade, and eventually it's gone. And you just don't think about it anymore. Have you ever been in a situation, okay, and I hear this all the time, where you want something, okay? And you know it's very beneficial for you. And you know it'd be very beneficial for others. Whatever it may be. But you say something, that fear comes in from the ego mind that says, you can't afford that. You can't, just forget it. Okay? Even it may save your life and other people's life, you can't get it. You just can't afford it. See what you're doing? You're actually confirming the fact that you can't manifest it. You're saying to yourself, the people will say they cannot afford it, so they can't have it. They can't manifest it, which is absurd. And when they're in that mode and they say, well, I should get it, I should just go ahead and get it because it's going to be so beneficial. But the problem is, there's that tugging of, but what about money for this and that and doing this and that? And if you do this, it's going to be tight for you over here, and the worry comes in, and it attracts more lack of. See, that's what happens. Or have you been in a situation where you said to yourself, you're going to get something, right? It could be at a store, you could be anywhere. And to you, it's expensive. And you've always thought about getting it, but you never did, because you would always come in and say to yourself, right, that you've got to be practical, and this is frivolous spending or whatever you would justify not getting it. And so you'd walk on by, and this would come up every now and then to you, and it would manifest in front of you, and you'd say, there it is again. And you would say you didn't have the money and you couldn't afford it, or, I've got all these bills, and all these things come in this ego mind. So it convinces you, again, and you walk on by. Now, there's some people that will say, I'm getting that because I deserve it and I enjoy it. So boom, they get, and they don't worry. They're not having a stress party about getting it and feeling guilty that they got it and looking over their shoulder and saying, oh, they shouldn't have spent that money, and why did they spend it? They really enjoy it, but they shouldn't have spent it. You see how it goes? We're in a constant battle with this life and ourselves. We aren't in a battle with anybody else. We're in a battle with ourselves. We are constantly fighting ourselves to enjoy life. You ever notice that? We're constantly fighting ourselves to enjoy life. So it's a tug of war. 1 minute, and then and ooh, and you go back and forth. And it all of it stems from where? Within you. And how you were programmed, which is not a bad thing. It's just identifying the fact that We've got to clean this out, this lack of programming, and replace it with abundance programming. You'd be amazed. But see, so many, and then you say, well, why aren't a mass amount of people doing it? Because they get cut off at the pass by their ego mind. That's what happens. And the subconscious mind, where everything has been collected and stored, shelf after shelf after shelf, is randomly played back, so it reinforces the ego mind's insecurity, and we negate that for ourselves. And I do believe, truly, that every single one of us, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, deserve the best of everything. Not, you're poor, you can't afford that, but I'm over here and I'm wealthy and I can afford it. It's only for wealthy people. You aren't wealthy, get out of here. How idiotic is that? Oh, you're trailer trash, or you live in the hills, or you're this, or you're that. It's all ego mind. It's period. Say. Treat others as you would like to be treated. Respect yourself, then you can respect others. If you don't respect yourself, you're not going to respect anybody else. Love yourself deeply and eternally, and deep and eternal gratitude, and being gentle, kind, and generous with yourself. How are you going to be with others? You're going to be gentle, kind, and generous, and humble with others. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath out from the into the nose. And an easy and slow breath out of the mouth. Remain still. The mind is always busy focusing on something. It is stuck in an automatic and unconscious perpetual shift of attention. It's been busy your whole life and desperately needs a vacation. So for today is to not focus on anything. And this is a fun thing to do. Get a timer, and for about 3 minutes, practice having no focus at all. Zero. To prepare yourself for this feat, it's best that you sit down or lean against a wall and relax every muscle in your body. Once your body is at ease, simply experience your own presence. If your mind starts to dream, think, and wander, reset the clock and start over. Do not push your attention onto or of anything. The mind cannot focus on not focusing. Just be in a deep let go and surrender to your own presence. Be completely present to the presence inside of you. Surrender to the continuous experience of your presence, and this universe will provide you with everything you've been searching for your entire life. Once you stop focusing completely for a few solid minutes, you will empty yourself out and be filled with the highest possible awareness that you can imagine. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and into the following morning. And we will return here Monday, May 15th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global daily meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the deepest, deepest, deepest of eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what is going on around you, outside of you.